What an absolute disaster of a day this one was. Seriously, we got Averillo up there with the highest score of the game here when I don't own him, and obviously traded him out in like round 3, which is delightful. Just kicking for a ridiculous amount of meters, 728, a couple of forced dropouts. Didn't really do anything wrong. Had one error with 25 tackles, one line break, just everything perfect, and is the clear best centre right now. Obviously, 3 really strong scores in a row, a 50 odd, a 60 odd, and now an 83. So if you've kept hold of him this whole time, awesome work for you. You got the half and centre dual position there, and you're absolutely smashing it. So yeah, congrats to all those owners. Obviously, Cleary is captain, got a little 10-minute breather at the end, just did a bit of everything without any negatives. Again, just incredible player. Coruscant, good to see him back with a 68 in his 77 minutes. Obviously, a little breather at the end as well. But when they scored 30 points to Bulldogs 4, and he still makes someone that makes 65 tackles for 3 misses. That's pretty incredible. And this is something that he did very regularly last year, was sort of close to 50 tackles at a minimum, and then had his attacking stats and running the ball as well throughout the rest of it. So I think there's been a little bit of confirmation today that Cook's going to get that 9 jersey. So Coruscant becomes a really interesting option coming into this round 13 buy, and at around that 600k price tag, he's someone that you could get fairly easily for a lot of different players. So yeah, keep him in mind going forward. Crichton with an amazing game, running for 314 meters. So well done to him, and anyone who owns him. Only got 3 tackle breaks in that, but still 66 points with a try assist and a try there. So awesome work for Stephen there. Fisher Harris with 62 and actually playing 58 minutes this time. So good to see that he actually gets a bunch of extra minutes, and one of the more consistent mids at the moment. So really well done to him. And if you held on to Momorowski, awesome work again, 58 with a try, a couple of try assists as well. No real negatives apart from the one error there. Error. What's that one there? Yeah, error. One error. I forgot about it for a second. Mom, well done to him. And if you own him, awesome. He will be a keeper if he continues to keep that spot. The issue is will he keep it with Edwards coming back? That's the worry with him. Staines with a 50, so good to see him get a couple of tries as well. Burton with 50 as well, so a good pickup in the last few weeks. He obviously had one low game in amongst a couple of really high ones with the 70 odd last week, the 50, and then next week he's going to be playing the 7 role and getting, you'd imagine, 50 plus as well. So if you picked him up, well done. Jackson and Luke Thompson. So Thompson still played big minutes, just no real attacking stats this time for a 46, and you can cop that if that's kind of going to be his low end of his scores, then you're completely okay with that. Jackson is still definitely not an option. Isaiah Yeo should get a spot on the bench, you'd imagine, for the Blues, so not an option at the moment. If he happens to lose that spot, then he could be interesting as a bit of a cut price keeper, averaging just over 50, but there are some better options, I think, at this stage. Torpany did get to play 69 minutes with Dietz going off injured, so he came on very early, obviously, there, and played the rest of the game, and this is kind of the score that we expected from him. Even though he did get moved to the bench. So, yeah, would have expected this if he started, but he ended up playing the rest of the game anyway. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him post this bye round. So, he could be an interesting cash cow option in round 14, I think, for sure, if he manages to keep that spot. And they've got a few injuries with other guys in the squad. Billy Kickout with 44, To'o with 42. So, obviously, he has been averaging a little bit less lately. Less tries coming his way and a few less tackle breaks, but when you're averaging 55 for the season, I think he's going to be a good option going forward. There is some talk that he'll play some Origin though, so keep that in mind. Hopoate is averaging a lot better at the moment. He started really poorly and has been improving his average slowly and steadily, but it still isn't an option. Obviously, the buy round this week. Martin as well, probably wouldn't be looking at him as an option. Good to see Hetherington have a decent PPM this week, but again, not a good option. Shoop, if that's how you say it, got 37 with a try, so congrats to him on getting his first try in the NRL. Well deserved. Leota with 30. Elliott, 28 points in 80 minutes. Another average performance from him. Spencer Lane, you got a try, which is good for him, but try and a turnover tackle and still only getting 28. Not really great, but again, he's only getting 22 minutes, so his PPM is always incredible. Hopefully he gets to play some bigger minutes next week with guys like Isaiah Yeo out. That would be ideal, but we'll see how that goes. Jerome Lewis, unfortunately, with an 18, so I think he's definitely a sell if he gets picked for Origin. He's a sell. If he doesn't get picked, then you can probably try and hold him, and you'd expect a decent score out of him next week. But long term, he's not a keeper. He's obviously his his average is going down and down over the last bunch of weeks, and he's losing a lot of cash after he'd sort of made a fair bit and was in the 600s there. But that's kind of it around these kind of players. You'd expect Tyrone May to play some bigger minutes next week, but again, I don't think he's an option going forward. Good to see that the Titans have already scored against the Sharks. We'll move on to the Bunnies and the Eels, obviously doing this one pretty late today. All right, so welcome back for the Bunnies. We kind of didn't write them off, but we were like, wow, it's crazy how they were pretty much always almost full strength and get absolutely hammered by the Panthers, and that shows how good they are as a team, right? So here you are with Gags and Johnston getting 3 tries each, and a lot of people would have written Gagai off, and I think that's a silly idea, especially when they're going to be a team that's going to be top 4. You expect they're top 4 bound. He's going to get a lot of action, and for 3 tries and a try assist there. Awesome work for Gags. Obviously, him and Johnston killed it on that side there. And good to see Cook back with a really good score. So try assist and a try to go along with 52 tackles and 1 miss. So awesome work for Cookie, and this is why you hold these types of players. They eventually head back to their mean, right? So you can see a lot of the guys we're picking up that are like fringe keeper guys, and they're going to have up and down weeks. And similar with Cook, but his up and down is still averaging 59. So it's still really, really strong. Even though you picked him up, but a lot of people might have started with him and hold him this whole time, you're still getting some value out of him for someone that you haven't had to trade. He's played every game. Those are the kind of things you got to think about. Reynolds was 66, so welcome back to him for a good score. Kolomatangi also is 61. So again, someone who's been up and down in their scoring, still has made a fair bit of cash, but in terms of the scoring, you get a 60 odd, you get a 30, and that's how he works back and forth. We move to one of my guys that I brought into my squad this week, and happy that he picked up a good score and got obviously a line break and try. But the fact that he got sin bin kind of hurt his chances of maybe getting a few extra minutes and obviously a score in the 60s. So I think we're happy with his output. Obviously 33 tackles for no misses is perfect. A try in there, 3 tackle breaks, 92 meters wasn't incredible, but they also had the ball a bit less because they were up against a team that beat them. So yeah, happy with the score overall, and he's going to be great for 13 and beyond. So yeah, that's it there. Mane with 56, playing 69 minutes, so he's not the out-and-out keeper that we'll think if he's not going to play at the 80 minutes, but still a great score in that time. And we expect him to play Origin, so I'd be holding off on Reed. If you have him in your team, I think you just got to hold steady, cop the miss in round 13, but have him back for 14 and beyond, because he's still averaging 62, so keep that in mind with him there. Moses with 2 light weeks in a row. Yes, they've got beat in both of those, so that's kind of partly the reason. The kick meters is a bit low, though, and I would expect it a little bit more, but is what it is in a team where you don't have the ball as much in your hands, as you can tell from a lot of the forwards here. Junior Paulo, 96 meters, Brown, 109. Who else we got down here? Madison was obviously fairly low at 91. So, majority of their forwards didn't get to run a lot, means they don't have the ball as much, and some less kick meters to go along with, no attacking stats at all. So, you're 42, I guess you kind of cop. But yeah, you're hoping to not have that at a regular clip. Obviously, next week you'll be expecting a very much a bigger score from him in there. Fergo, someone I said just completely hold, and he does that there. Madison, one of my 2 players that I'm really annoyed with over this Saturday games after such a nice Thursday and Friday night games. Maddo with 38, obviously got sin bin, so you take off 7 points, he'd be 45 in 70, and then if he plays the 80, you expect somewhere at 50 plus, which is good for the type of price that you get him at. So, really, you didn't have any negatives apart from the sin bin. 91 meters, 2 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, 26 tackles. You can't really complain with that as to where he was at, and you would, as I said, you'd be trekking for like a 50. So, I guess the thing is now I've brought him in. He's got a 55, a 40, and a 38. So not great, not what we want. But then if he gets him picked in Origin as well, it's just been a shit trade overall. So yeah, that's the Matto one. Just hold steady and see what happens with Origin, and we'll make our decisions from there. But I think you just got to hold steady either way. Arthur with a try again, so welcome, good work to him. Nice and cheap, but he'll lose his spot to Dylan Brown next week. He'll be back. Where do they go, the forwards? So yeah, the forwards for Rabbitohs, obviously a few extra meters, which is good for them. Host Lane Walker with the lowest score. There's a chance he plays Origin. We'll have to work it out, but I don't think he's a complete out-and-out keeper, so you should be trading him out leading into this 13 bye anyway. Gutho hasn't been amazing the last few weeks. To get a try and a line break and only 33 points is not great, but again, those lesser meters as they had the ball a little bit less, 2 tackle breaks, a few errors, things like that. So that's that there. Murray played on the edge, so maybe is that is that talks of him going to be playing on the edge in Origin? Maybe they've asked him. Maybe they've asked the Bunnies to try him on there, or it's just completely Wayne Bennett tings and deciding to do that and play. Who they play at 13? I can't remember. Liam Knight, whoever it was. We'll work it out in a second. But yeah, not a great score, and I wouldn't be if you're holding him. It's a bit of an issue because he's going to play Origin. I think most people would have traded him out when he had the longer term injury. So that's that. Niokore with 27 in 43 minutes. It'll be interesting to see his price pop down and if he gets his starting spot back, because he might be someone that could make you some cash again if you can get him somewhere around that 400 or less. But we'll see how that goes. Latrell here with 24 in his time on the park. Obviously, 2 tries is good, but just less run meters than he's used to having, especially in those first bunch of games. And you imagine he plays Origin, so I wouldn't be picking him up. Campbell Graham with a slower game as well. Again, at 522k, he's done pretty well, but will be a little bit cheaper come round 14, and that might be the time to pick up him, or might be a little bit closer to 17, for example. Opacek with his lowest score of the year. Mr. Consistent killed me this week, and thankfully I had Joey Manu in the next game that helped me out, but to make it an even 45 a player, which is fine. But yeah, Oppa just didn't get to run the ball much. Had a bunch of negatives there with negative 10. Got a line break assist, a couple of tackle busts, but just overall a bit of a nothing game, unfortunately. That's about it. Bryce Cartwright, again, the reason why you don't pick up a guy like him is the minutes are a bit everywhere off the bench. So that's that game there. Let me know what you guys thought of that one. And we'll move to the Roosters and the Titans and the Raiders to round out the week. And and this is where the annoyingness comes in, as I had the option of picking up a cheaper Corey Harawira or going for a guy that's done really well in the past, especially last year, and you think was going to keep his role, and obviously hasn't after being slightly injured and whatever else in Starling, and I've been completely burnt in this one. So Corey gets 87 and just is absolutely incredible. 56 in base, 9 tackle breaks, couple offloads and a turnover tackle to go along with the line break was absolutely incredible. He'll be up around 550, 560 after the first bye. And an interesting option is he going to end up being a keeper? That's the question. He has scored really well in the past for the Dogs, and he's probably been one of their shining lights really over the last month. So he could be a really interesting option coming into round 14 if you haven't picked him up already. So that's that there. And obviously I spoke about Manu and how much he helped me this week, and he was really incredible in his own right. A couple of really cool solo tries with the steal, and thankfully no one laid a hand on him to finally get that ball down, and then the chip and chase to himself to catch it and score. So he's very, very talented, and I like seeing him through the middle a bit more and getting his hands on the ball, and he's makes more meters. He obviously runs the ball a lot more. He had 4 turnover tackles. Obviously they included that strip there, and a bunch of others. So just a really strong game overall. And we're happy with it. His average is still only 43, so has had a few lighter games, and it's good to see him get a big one for us, for those that didn't trade him out anyway. Hodgson had a nice game, but obviously not good enough to win for the boys. Tupanua with 2 tries, so awesome if you're holding him still. He's probably someone you can move on this week. But I'm also happy with you holding him in the long term as well. If he can continue getting 80 minutes, which we expect he does, he's someone that does score really well for this Roosters side. He's just got a couple of injury-affected games or games off the bench, which puts his overall average to 48. So he's someone who's a 50-plus scorer if he's getting 80 minutes there. Tedesco had a bit of a hip injury issue that we're worried about. Looks like he should be fine as he came back on the field, 7 minutes later, and scored pretty well. Got a nice line break, try assist, 6 tackle breaks, bit of everything there for Teddy. And he's someone that I'd definitely be looking to target after this 13 or 14 round there, and then you're only really missing him hopefully for 1 week in round 17. So awesome for Teddy there. Taukeiaho with a bigger score, but not very relevant at the moment. I don't think he's just playing too inconsistent in terms of his minutes to warrant a spot in anyone's squad. I think at the moment. Horsburgh played really well and got a nice try, but I think he's dislocated his wrists apparently, so that's not going to be very good for him, unfortunately. And we got Morris there with 47, Sawali with 47, so he got a nice try and a try assist there. I think he holds his own for a young fella. So 231k, he could be interesting if there's another injury in the Roosters back line and he can maintain a centre spot. Then he could be an interesting cash cow going forward with that dual position wing fullback centre. So keep that in mind there. In terms of the other guys, we've got Sutton with a lower game, so he'll get a little bit cheaper over the next bunch of weeks, obviously with their bye next week, and then you can possibly look to pick him up as like a cut price keeper, but we'll have to wait and see with that one. Lamb with an average game with a try and a try assist, just too many missed tackles with 7 there, so I don't think he's going to end up being an option, but still someone to keep an eye on. Aiken's coming back to normal, obviously just not a lot happening for him. Got a try saver, but that's about it. Chris is there with 23. Starling, there he is. So, yeah, just ended up being a mistake with this one. They, flirted with the idea of playing him big minutes and having Hodgson come on and play big minutes as well, and then that just went straight to bed this week, and they didn't even bother. But I suppose that looking back on it and making a decision on it now, I'm thinking that it was probably a silly idea. It's when I'm looking at the Broncos team and what's happened there with the chops and changes all the time, for teams that are really struggling, they're going to try things and then change it pretty quickly if it doesn't work. And I suppose that was what I saw, that they Starling obviously had some time in the middle there and was doing well. Hodgson comes back and I guess they ease him in off the bench and they want to see how that works. And it obviously hasn't been working because they've been losing, and then they just go back to normal. And that's something that I can take as a lesson, I think. And if anyone else that jumped on the Starling bandwagon with me, it's obviously hurt you. Thankfully, I haven't had to play him this week. Once I saw he was on the bench, I just moved him to my 21 and took Alvaro's 39. And I think now Schuster's going to be out as well. So I think I get Spencer's 28. So I think there's a lot of people that are probably only playing 15 or 16 now with all those injuries to Walker being out, Schuster and all that. So yeah, a bit of a pain with that one. If you brought in Starling, and if it stays like this, I think he's going to be a trade out. And with him, trading him in a couple of weeks ago, 31 and 17 when you're expecting 50 plus, really hurts the rank and the trades there. So I'm probably gonna have to trade him out personally. Rapana with 17, just a bit of a low one on his return. So if you held on to him all that time, you didn't get rewarded at all, unfortunately. Simonson with 17 for anyone who's still playing him, and Benjamin Marshke with 27 minutes for 11. So yeah, a 28 average there. He's made a little bit of cash, but hasn't done so well recently. But that's that, guys. They're the 3 games. I hope you enjoy the Sunday slate. And we'll catch you in the rest of the week when we go through our results, and hopefully we can somehow keep rank in my team anyway. We'll go from there, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one, team. Bye-bye.